We are good to go, Madam Chair.
Okay, good morning. The hearing board of the South Coast Air Quality Management District is in session. Today is November 4th, 2020. The time is 9:15 a.m. We are meeting remotely via Zoom, given the current pandemic and the stay-at-home orders in place in the state of California. We have one matter on our calendar. There is also a pre-hearing teleconference later in Phillips 66 at 2:00 p.m., which the chair will handle. But we have one matter on the calendar for today, and that is County of San Bernardino Fleet Management, case number 6070-5. And we are hearing this matter today for a regular variance. And who is representing the County of San Bernardino Fleet Management this morning?
That would be myself, Lauren Finwall. I am the Regulatory Environmental Specialist, and I'm also accompanied by our Fleet Superintendent, Jeff Lauver.
Good morning. And who is representing the Executive Officer today?
Stacy Pruitt for the Executive Officer.
Good morning, Ms. Pruitt.
Good morning.
All right. Before we get started, I just wanted to go through a few preliminaries. First of all, just a reminder to the board that we have heard this matter before on an interim variance at the end of September. And today we are in a noticed hearing. And so good cause is no longer an issue. And the issue simply is the 6 findings for a regular variance. And this was necessary because an emergency variance well, I guess a short variance could have got us through the rest of the year, but no, not a short variance. A short variance wouldn't have gotten us through the rest of the year. We need a regular variance for the generator to get through the rest of the year. So the first thing I'm going to ask is, since we were able to make the 6 findings before based on the evidence and testimony that we received at the interim variance hearing, is whether there is any objection to incorporating in today's hearing all of the evidence and testimony that we heard at the last hearing in September. Ms. Finwall, do you have any objection to that?
I do not.
Okay. And Ms. Pruitt, do you have any objection to that?
No objection, thank you.
Okay, so all of that evidence and testimony is hereby incorporated. In addition, we've received 3 documents that I'm going to mark, and I believe we're up to number 5. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? Okay. So we received an IC engine operating log. I believe we received it twice, but it was the same log. I didn't see any differences in the hours or the dates. So we're going to mark that IC engine operating log as exhibit number 5. We also received SC AQMD excess emission factors, and it's a 1-page calculation, which looks like this, and we're going to mark that as exhibit number 6. And finally, we received a 1-page document, which is entitled Forest Falls Variant Request, and it discusses good cause. I believe it's just an update. And so we're going to mark that as exhibit number 7. And with that, I'm going to turn to Ms. Finwall for any opening statement you wish to make.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the opening statement, as we've stated previously in the one before, the reason that this generator was powered on for emergency hours was due to the El Dorado fire. And for some updates, as stated under Exhibit 7, on Wednesday, September 30th, power was restored from Edison by a backup generator to Forest Falls at 6:06. So currently right now, the generator is not running on emergency hours as of right now. But due to that the power being restored through the backup generator, there are times where Edison needs to test their backup generator, which puts us out of power due to their maintenance. But with that, this generator does still supply power to our fire station, which is the Forest Falls Fire Station 99. This fire station is for our first responders to help serve their community, whether that be a fire, or any other unrest throughout their community. And it is crucial that this generator stay running so that the firefighters and any other first responders may continue to do their job seamlessly. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, but Ms. Finwall, you are also serving as a witness, and I did not swear in the witnesses. So let me just do that, and then you'll just say yes.
Yep.
Everything you said was under oath. So whoever is going to plan to testify today, or who may testify, if you could please raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
We do.
Okay. And everything you said, Ms. Finwall, was under oath, correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I just wanted to make sure I understand. It does say on Exhibit 7 that power was restored on the 20th, which didn't seem to, is that incorrect?
That was a typo. So
Okay.
that was, it was supposed to be in chronological order. So yes, that is supposed to be Wednesday, September 30th,
Okay.
2020. And then if it helps as an added note, power restored. Edison restored that power through a backup generator as they continue to fix the burned down fire poles.
Okay. And maybe we'll get more into that in the hearing, but I'm going to turn to Ms. Pruitt for your opening.
Thank you. Good morning. Based upon the information that we received in the last hearing, the district is not opposed to the variance.
Thank you. Okay, and Ms. Finwall, if you could just, as we go through, if you have any other, well, let me start with, if you have any other testimony that you wish to provide, this would be a good chance. But otherwise, maybe we can just, I want to clarify. Well, let me ask Ms. Pruitt. Do you have any questions for Ms. Finwall on her opening?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to clarify. So today's hearing is about the internal combustion engine that drives an emergency generator, and it is permit to operate number G56510, correct? And that is the backup generator that was the subject of the interim variance.
Correct.
Okay. And that is what you are requesting a variance to continue to go over the 200 hours as needed for emergencies and also for maintenance up until the 200 hours reset on the 1st of January. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So separately, there is also this emergency generator that's being used by the power company, the electric company, to provide power to the site?
To my basic understanding, yes, but someone who's more well-versed on it is our superintendent here, Jeff Lauber.
Okay. Then we'll wait for Mr. Lauber to testify unless any board members have any other questions pending, understanding that we're going to get more information from Mr. Lauber. Yes, Mr. Balagopal.
I had one question, Ms. Finwall. Did SE give any update as to when they will repair or when you'll have power restored? Not from the backup, but the power pole and.
That yeah, unfortunately, I do not know when. Edison hasn't informed us when they will have those power poles totally restored.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no other questions from Ms. Finwall, we will turn to her witness, Mr. Lauber. Okay. If you can ask your witness to spell his name, tell us his title, and we saw him take the oath, so we don't have to ask him that.
Jeff Lauber, Jefflaw, V as in Victor, ER, Fleet Lieutenant for the County of San Bernardino.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the title again?
Fleet Superintendent.
And can you spell your last name?
I couldn't hear that again. I couldn't hear that at all.
Okay, maybe Mr. Lauber, since you're sharing a mic, maybe speak a little bit louder.
Yeah, Jeff Lauber, Jeff, last name Law, V as in Victor, ER. Fleet Superintendent, County of San Bernardino.
Okay. Mr. Lawver, are you familiar with well, we have most of the information we need on the 6 findings, but if you have anything else to tell us as an update to our last hearing.
Just that several of the power poles were completely destroyed to the Forest Falls area. Edison stated that it would take several weeks, months, whatever, to get all the infrastructure put back into place. So they brought in a portable generator that is supplying the whole town of Forest Falls. So that does the fire station, the police station, communication site, and everything in Forest Falls for all the residents as well.
Okay, did you have anything else you wish to add at this time, or should we just turn it over to questions?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, Ms. Pruitt, do you have questions for Mr. Lawver?
I'm sorry. Good morning. Can you tell me the date that that generator came into use?
9:30 as per Exhibit A.
And has it been in continuous use?
Yes, except for when they need to maintain it, service it. So many hours the generator has to be serviced. So they will turn the power off probably for an hour or so. And that's when you'll see probably the run times on our generator that's on this for the variance request. We'll see a lost power when the generator's being serviced, and then our generator will come on. And that generator that is there is a portable, which is a car perp, not a stationary.
Thank you. At this point, I have no further questions.
Thank you. So just to follow up on what you just said. So if we look on Exhibit 5, which is the engine operating log, the last entry, which is from October 26th through the 27th, that 9 hours and I guess 46 minutes, or no, not 46 minutes, but 9.46 hours. That is because the generator was off and being maintained. And so your engine, your backup engine, needed to provide power, or is that for some other reason?
You know, I don't know. I'm not in direct communication with Edison. As that site is, you know, it's monitored. As soon as power is lost, the generator starts automatically, and we have a GPS on it. So that's how we're able to stay up to date of when the run times are. I'm guessing it was for maintenance, or I'm not sure.
Okay, but it was an Edison outage.
Correct.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Lawver? Mr. Balagopal?
Mr. Lawver, do you happen to know how, you said the generator supplies the whole town for Forest Fall?
To my understanding, that's what they were going to do.
Have you seen?
I have not physically been up there
Okay.
to take a look, but that was from my understanding what was going to be done.
So you have no idea if it's a diesel backup or if it's how big the horsepower is or anything like that?
I have no idea.
Even whether they have a permit with AQMD. You wouldn't know. Okay.
That would be a question. That's not my expertise. That would be Warren's for Warren to answer.
Okay. Thank you.
I had another question about, I just want to understand the amount now that we have excess emissions calculation. I understand that fees are excused since this was a declared a state of emergency, or due to a fire that was declared a state of emergency for the state. On Exhibit 6, can you point out to us, did you prepare this? Are you familiar with the excess emission?
Oh, that would be, that did that.
Okay, then I'll wait on that and see if anyone else has any questions for Mr. Lawver, and then I'll go back to Ms. Finwell. Any questions for Mr. Lawver? Okay, thank you, Mr. Lawver. Okay, going back to Ms. Finwell then, the question I had is, can you point out for me where, I just want to have an idea of the amount we're looking at. Do you have a total for the excess emissions here that we could look at numbers? I see that the emission factors are at the top, and then the calculation was the costs, but where is the total amount over the interim?
So over the interim, so for the CO, so for the CO, you could say, so if we're going to the second half or the bottom half of the document, you could say that there would be 0.0326 pounds per hour of CO. For NOx, you would say that there would be 0.133 pounds per hour. For RHC, it would be 0.00516 pounds per hour. PM10, 0.00516 pounds per hour. And for SOx, I don't remember ever being given a solid number. So I went, but I know that Mr. Balagopalan was curious about potential SOx. So I went based off of a old hearing of 0.001 pounds per hour. And so that total came out to be 0.000172 pounds per hour.
So if we were to look, for example, at CO, to see even just over the life of, or the additional pollutants, because you've gone over 200 hours, it would just be however many hours over 200 times 0.0326.
So, sorry, I'm trying to think about how to better clarify this. So the numbers, the excess emissions numbers that were given last hearing were that CO was coming out 0.19 pounds per hour. NOx was coming in at 0.77 pounds per hour. Both RHC and PM10 were both 0.03 pounds per hour. And so what I did with those numbers was I times those times the hours over 200, which was 343.58. Then that gave me a total, and we did that total over 2,000, which I believe is a ton, because that's how you did the math.
Wait, stop there. It's that total that you, before you calculate the price, because again, you're excluding tuition fees. So it's that amount that I was looking for. So do you have?
I apologize.
Numbers? I'm just interested. I think it's more relevant, the pounds per hour, because we're moving forward. But if it was on the sheet, I just was interested in knowing the total amount we're looking at.
So it's actually these top numbers in the box.
But that's per hour, right?
Yes, pounds per hour.
And then multiply that by 543 hours minus 200, and that would tell us total. Okay. Thank you. That was all the questions I had on that. Anyone else have any questions for Ms. Finwell to complete anything you need to know about the 6 findings that we need to make? Okay, great. And I thought it would be very straightforward, given that we really went over all of this at the last hearing. And Ms. Finwell, you do not need to make the request again because we are aware of it, but I assume you are still asking under, what is it, 303P? I think it's P, that's correct, that we are required to waive emission fees and fee. Well, I think we waived them all. Being as it was declared a state, the El Dorado fire was declared a state of emergency. Okay. Mr. Balagopan, were you indicating that you had a question or something to say?
No, I was just citing the section of the rule. I think you 303.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and Ms. Pruitt, Ms. Finwell, you have no other witnesses, correct?
No other witnesses.
Okay. Ms. Pruitt, you have no witnesses that you wish to present?
No, I do not, although I still have the same witnesses available should we need them from the last hearing.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Okay.
Ready, refresh. May I ask who I'm speaking with today?
Okay, just making sure everybody's got their thing. Okay, all right, then I'm going to ask if there's any member of the public who is present who wishes to be heard on this matter. And I'm not really seeing any names that I don't recognize, but if anybody is participating and I just don't see you and you wish to raise your hand or otherwise indicate with your voice or otherwise that you wish to be heard on this matter, please let me know now. Okay, and I see none. So we'll just go to any closing you wish to make, Ms. Finwell.
In conclusion, thank you, board, for hearing the County of San Bernardino Fleet Management out on this issue. And I would lastly like to say that this generator, again, does far outweigh that of the excess emissions that it is emitting, due to the fact that this is a fire station that helps our first responders help their community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Pruitt, do you wish to make any closing statement?
Just briefly, that the district remains unopposed based upon a lack in the change in the circumstances since our last hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, board members, I think that sums it up pretty well. There really is no change in the circumstances since the interim variance. The reason for the regular variance hearing today is because neither a short nor an emergency would be able to get the petitioner through to the end of the year when their 200-hour limit on their emergency backup generator would otherwise reset. Just as a reminder, this was a direct cause of the El Dorado fire, which cut power lines and power supply to the Forest Fall fire station. And we know how important the fire station is, and they need to have power to both operate and for communications. And so it is an extremely important usage. And so the generator, I'll go through the 6 findings, but the only variance we're being asked for today, the only violation we're being asked to excuse by variance is the 200-hour limit in their permit for the backup generator. And obviously we were able to find that conditions were beyond the reasonable control of both the firefighters and the county because it was due to the El Dorado fire, which was later declared to be an emergency, state of emergency. And it is very important use. And so the loss of that generator and power, when power is cut to that fire station, would be an unreasonable burden on firefighters, but certainly would be a taking. We were also able to find and still can find that that loss of the generator would certainly be without a corresponding benefit in reducing air contaminants. For every single hour that they need to have that generator running, we see in Exhibit 6 at the top that it's a very small amount of emissions per hour, and certainly necessary, and so I can make that finding. Finally, curtailment is not an option. They need to run it. And that's the reason for the variance. So curtailment would not help. Reducing excess emissions to the maximum extent feasible, as is required by the permit, they are limiting use to only when the power is cut and it is therefore an emergency, or for necessary maintenance because they are now relying on generators. And monitoring will keep the conditions of the original interim variance, which had a maintenance of a monthly operating log and also a calculation, we'll change that date, but a calculation of excess emissions, even though as part of a motion, we would under 303P waive those fees due to the declaration of the state of emergency, which again is already in evidence and was already admitted at the last hearing. So I can make all of the findings. Anyone else have any thoughts on the findings before a motion is made? Okay. In the matter of County of San Bernardino Fleet Management, case number 6070-5, I move that we grant a regular variance that will begin today and will end at the end of the day on December 31st, 2020, when the 200-hour limit in the permit is reset on January 1st. It will be, as is stated in the minute order from the interim variance for the internal combustion engine ICE driving an emergency generator, permit to operate number 56510, which is at 40847 Valley of the Falls Drive in Forest Falls, and is from 203 District Rule 203B, and in particular condition number 4 of that same permit to operate, which limits the hours to 200 hours in a year. I further move that we adopt the same conditions that were in the interim variance and just carry them over. However, we'll have the calculation record and report of excess emission by December 31st. I know it's a holiday, however, it can just be done before that. We don't want it to go beyond the scope, the length, the term of the variance itself. And excess emissions will be the same as for the interim variance. No, they will now be more specifically stated as we see at the top of Exhibit 6. So for CO, 0.19 pounds per hour, NOx, 0.77 pounds per hour, RHC, which is 0.03 pounds per hour, PM10, 0.03 pounds per hour, and SOx, 0.001 pounds per hour. I further move that we waive emission fees under the regular variance given under Rule 303P, which requires us to waive all fees associated with Rule 303 when a declaration of a state of emergency is made, and it was made by the state, by Governor Newsom. That completes my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Bruzek, before the second.
Yes, well, there's a second, and now let's have discussion on the motion.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to point out the condition number 1. It says, I don't know if it's supposed to read for testing and maintenance time. It says maintenance and maintenance
Oh, I
time.
missed that. Okay, well, we'll fix that. Thank you. I assume, Dr. Bernstein, that's okay with the second.
We think first. Yes.
Senator. You are on mute, Senator.
And however, I would vote for waiving the fees.
I'm sorry, somebody, there's feedback. I'm gonna mute everyone else who is not speaking. Okay. Senator, did you get me muted?
No, he's
Okay, go ahead, Senator.
I would just say concur with the motion, and then I will vote to waive the fees based on the state of emergency from the governor. Okay, that's, set forth my condition.
Thank you. And I think we know why. I know that Senator, you have in the past mentioned the importance of fees to the district. Thank you for that comment.
In fact, the attorney representing the district came and spoke before the board at the time I raised the issue, that was where they get their income to support the financial support of the district.
That is correct. I believe it was Ms. Barrera who spoke on that. Is there any other discussion on the motion? Okay, then I will call for a vote. Senator, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Verdugo Peralta, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Balagopalan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Bernstein, how do you vote? I vote yes. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you for a very succinct and quick hearing, and thank you to the board members for your participation. And Ms. Pruitt, we hope you feel better and get some rest. Is there any other business? Again, I mentioned that it won't be webcast, but there is a pre-hearing conference later this afternoon at 2 o'clock with the chair, and that is the case of Phillips 66 Company, Los Angeles Refinery, Wilmington Plant, case number 4900-110 on a potential appeal. Okay, is there any other business? I think I asked and there is none. Okay, we are much more,
Board participating on that hearing?
no, it's not a hearing. It's a pre-hearing conference. So there's no discussion of any substance. It's merely a discussion of how the parties are proceeding in their talks and whether we are scheduling an appeal hearing. And if that gets scheduled, then the whole board will participate.
Today's meeting is the last one for the week, correct? This is the last meeting for this week.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
When's our next meeting, Madam Chair, just to make sure?
I think it's the training next week.
I will defer to one of the clerks if they have the calendar. Oh, actually, I have the calendar right here.
It's the training you schedule, I think, on the 10th.
Right, let's see. No, it's not on the 10th. Oh, yes, it is. We have our training on the 10th.
In the afternoon.
And then on the 12th, we have one status report and modification in Ralph's Grocery Company. And of course, there's Veterans Day in the middle.
Yes. Okay, happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Yes, happy Veterans Day, although we will be speaking the day before. Any other business that we need?
Did you know that Ms. Barrera has retired since last? Were you aware of that?
Sadly, we were made aware of that after we spoke to her.
Oh.
She was present for our board meeting that week. And then we heard that she was retiring on Friday. We're sad. We were very sad to hear it. And we said some great things about her because she's a great attorney and she'll be missed.
I'll make sure I tell her everything.
Please do. I know she didn't allow us to get sappy. Maybe it was after what happened with Nancy.
Yes, yes.
That's not fair. That's not fair. We have a right to be sappy. But yes, we all talked about how much we respect her work and we loved having her appear before us, and she will be deeply missed. So
Yes,
please let her know that.
the first attorney that I worked with on Lubco, and he definitely did a good job in training me.
Yeah, well, whatever training you were given was great as well. So, because
thank you.
All of the attorneys who appear before us are top notch, all of you. So thank you. And we'll miss her and feel better.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah,
Anything?
feel
Ms.
better, Stace.
Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe.
All right,
Okay.
we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you. Take care, kids.
You
Thank you.
too.